You are listening to the Mohua show, where it's all about celebrating the Junoon among changemakers and their journey.
Divorce is not a stigma at all. It is a part of life, and you can rebuild your life from anywhere.
So, what would be the red flags that you would say in a marriage that are often missed because, often they show up as care, love, or culture?
My love was deaf, dumb, blind, everything. The biggest red flag sign is the inconsistency. The person is one day he is very loving to you, and next day you will think, oh my God, what is it? These people are the most charming people. Nobody will believe you that what is happening behind the closed door. Divorce is not a stigma at all. It is a part of life, and you can rebuild your life from anywhere.
What happens when the healer needs healing, when a respected psychiatrist, advocate, and educator finds herself on the other side of the couch, battling silence, stigma, and survival? Of course, you've not heard the story before. And what does it mean to challenge not just society, but the systems that were supposed to protect you? Law, medicine, marriage. Today, we are speaking with Dr. Aninda Sidhana, psychiatrist, psychosexual medicine specialist, and a fierce advocate for mental health, gender justice, and inclusion. She's also an advisory member with Search Ends Inclusion Impact on an initiative led by Prince Manavendra Singh Gohil, working with the intersection of DEI, and lived realities. So, thank you so much, Aninda, for being here today. So, let's just begin to talk a little bit about the fact that you're a really respected doctor, yet you weren't believed and supported. What does that say really about society? How does it treat, survivors, even strong women like you and me? So I'd really like to get your perspective on this.
Thanks a lot, first of all, to giving me the wonderful opportunity to talk. So, regarding the society, our society has definitely a lot of gender stereotypes for the women. So, first of all, the women, if women starts leading, everyone starts blaming her. It's like when a woman is talking, she's labeled, and strong women nobody can handle, and our generation is not trained enough to live with the empowered women, but rather women have become so empowered, and I call them not only empowered, it's in power. And so it's the from bedroom to boardroom. In the bedroom, men like women on top, but in the boardroom, when the woman comes on top, they become very fragile and their ego starts getting hurt. So that is the main bias which is there, and they are not able to deal with it. But yes, survival support is definitely provided a lot by mental health professionals. I myself being a mental health professional, and I think you also know my story being a gender-based violence survivor. So Indian Psychiatric Support Society has been a biggest support, my colleagues, and also we have the survivor-led approaches, treatment part, then trauma-informed therapy, and everyone is very inclusive and compassionate. And I am grateful and blessed to have the strength of my female friendships, which I call Behan Code, who never judge me and they have actually supported me. And through LinkedIn also, I have met many women like you who believe in empowering others. So that is the thing. And this invisible power dynamics keeps on playing everywhere from marriage, bedroom, boardroom, everywhere. Women have to work at least 10 times harder than men despite they can achieve much better and maybe their pitches are better but still they have a doubt in themselves and that imposter syndrome comes of being a
Yeah.
superwoman. So that myth of being a superwoman I want to break, like, because superwoman, wonder woman, they all are unmarried, they don't have other responsibilities. So that is the thing. Yeah.
Say that again and again, Ananda,
So
that all of them are unmarried women who do not have those sort of responsibilities. Kudos to you. I love how we've begun. But let's talk about the fact that you rebuilt your life not once, but twice. So, what was that moment that made you say that I will not let this define me? So, tell us a little bit about it because I think so many of us will have inspiration from your journey.
yes, definitely. And I believe in storytelling. I share my story not at all to gain sympathy or empathy. If anybody says me this story, though, I just get very offended by that, first of all. And the storytelling has a power to give courage to women. I myself got the courage by listening to one podcast. There was a woman who was talking about her story going through two abusive marriages, and she was not much educated. And then I thought, why I am staying? And I am not a tree, I can move. So why I am staying in this place, first of all? And it takes lot of courage. I think the part tolerating the abuse even after rebuilding the life is much easier, but deciding the step when to move is more difficult. That courage, because of the societal stigma, societal pressure, is very high. And second time, it took me a lot of courage to call up my dad, ki, no, this is last time. Even if it's the 10th marriage, I cannot stay. So, but my parents have been very supportive in both the time. Even a 1 second extra, I didn't have to stay in the house. It was like, yes, come back. You are always welcome. And no, why didn't you tell us before? And also, women only, they keep on, because of the societal pressure, they keep on tolerating this. We have to make our marriage work. But
Yeah.
marriage work is like the Dear Zindagi dialogue is my favorite. जब हम एक कुर्सी खरीदने के लिए बार बार देख सकते हैं, तो why are we pressurized to be in one relationship if it is not working well? Relationship is a two-way street, and your self-respect is important. And we lose that because of the societal pressure. I still get calls from many doctors. They are in abusive marriages but not able to leave because family is not supporting. So
Yeah.
for me, like,
Very few families, Aninda. Everybody doesn't have supportive parents,
that
and a
is the thing.
majority of parents do not have the courage actually to stand up to that stigma because they come from another generation altogether, and their sense of right and wrong is still so, caught with their own understanding and viewing life.
Yeah. So it's like not only the other generation, even the very educated families I know, even the well
Yes.
educated running their own business setups and all, they also don't allow the daughters to come back. So I
Mm.
always say, like, parents should raise their daughters that nothing should be accepted less. And also, yes, after marriage, your home is that home, and you have to treat your in-laws the way your parents are. But the moment that disrespect is there, you are always welcome. We are always there for you. And divorce is not a stigma at all. It is a part of life, and you can rebuild your life from anywhere. And also another thing, raise your sons so that uh, nobody's daughter has to go to the therapy. And son who is raised by a queen and who treats his wife like a queen is an example that he has been raised by a queen. So that is like from raising daughter and sons, right? And our daughters should be taught, like, you are well independent, well educated, and you are always welcome. That was an old age society. Ki daughter is married, अब बस वही घर है और नहीं आना. So that myth
बिल्कुल.
has to be broken by the parents, and they should
Mm.
support, definitely.
So, how can we challenge and change the societal perception that often views homemakers as unpaid servants? And I've been a homemaker and I've been talking a lot about it, rather than respected individuals, especially in the context of mental health and emotional well-being. I mean, emotional well-being, हम लोग हर चीज के बारे, हर इंसान के बारे में बात करते हैं सिवाय होममेकर्स के बारे. और ये मेरी बहुत बहुत बड़ी लड़ाई रही है, क्योंकि मैं भी होममेकर रही हूँ जहाँ पे मैंने रिबूट किया अपनी जिंदगी को,
Yeah.
आनंदा. एंड तो मुझे लगता है कि इनकी तो आवाज तो अभी तक पहुंची ही नहीं है कहीं पे भी. सो
Mm.
आई वांट टू हियर योर वर्जन ऑन दिस.
So for me, I have immense respect for homemakers. That is the most difficult task.
यस.
Actually, to be a homemaker, you have to look after everything, and definitely that unpaid labor, which we call. So I always admire women who are homemakers and running their home, and like, because it is, they are doing it out of love, but they don't get that respect.
नो दे
Actually,
डोंट गेट
that is the most difficult job in the world. At least we can go, a professional can go out and go out of the stress of the life and
या.
come back, go, talk about other things, do other things, and be away from some time at least from the household burden. But a homemaker has this burden of making everything perfect. Breakfast should be perfect,
एब्सोल्युटली.
everything should be clean. But that is not your responsibility. You are not a, like, I always say, women are not rehabilitation centers to raise the badly raised men. A man will not even hold his comforter. Why? You are not made to do that. So being a homemaker also, it's like a mutual responsibility should be there, because raising the kids also the responsibility of both the parents. I know many people, like, men don't know in which class the kids are studying. So that is
या.
like very bad. It's not like
And
that.
it's
It's,
also treated like a joke, that it's like it becomes like a meme that goes out. Oh, the dad doesn't know which class the child is in,
yeah.
and this will make the rounds also. And people don't even feel offended about it.
Y-
So yes.
So I have immense respect for the homemakers, definitely, and I believe that is the most difficult task. And I actually, like, I used to tell, I can't do cooking, I can't take care of home. It's better I will become a doctor. So that was like I was scared to be do that. And I have seen many women who are doing so many things, and I admire them. I feel I should learn from them, but I'm not a perfectionist. I am like the most messy person you can meet. And whenever someone asks me what is your schedule and how do you manage everything, I say I don't manage anything. It's like whatever comes, I just take it. So homemakers are the superwoman, and definitely, like, I wrote an article during the time of COVID lockdown, like at the time of for decoding impact of work from home on the mental health of women, because that
Yeah,
work from home, actually every maid was on leave, women had to do their office work also, men didn't
yeah,
move at all, and they had to do the household work also. So
mhm.
imagine the pressure on the women. So that was
Absolutely.
not a, like, work from home was not a luxury for them, it was a double labor.
Absolutely double labor.
Yeah.
You highlight the emotional toll of being unheard in the movie Mrs. So do you think emotional neglect is more difficult to address than overt abuse because of how normalized it is? And this is a question that's very close to my heart, Aninda,
Yeah, of
because
course.
I don't think anyone can even understand what emotional abuse is all about. And unless the person comes back with a black eye or a broken arm, till then, I don't think it is even addressed. So, what's your take on it?
Yes, definitely. I believe emotional abuse is much more worse than the physical abuse. At least physical abuse scars are seen. And though, like, our judicial system and society, like our officials don't believe in that scars also. But yes, emotional abuse, even families don't understand. They say, "Arey to kya ho gaya? Yahi to bola hai." But the small self disrespect also, it erodes your self-esteem. It
Yes.
makes you into that vicious cycle, doubt your own self, what where I
Yeah.
went wrong, despite doing your best. And throughout the day, you are in that loop, whether I am doing right or wrong, and that emotional abuse actually erodes the self-esteem. It's these, I always say, these wounds are much deeper than you can even think of it. And rebuilding your life after the emotional abuse is more difficult. It is more difficult to deal with. And every woman and even men also. I am a feminist, but I am a psychiatrist first, so I always talk about men's mental health also. Many men also go through the emotional abuse, so when they get into wrong relationship. So embracing the talking about your emotions and seeking help is the first step. And men don't talk. So that is
Yeah.
the embracing vulnerability is strength. And even women, when she's going through the emotional abuse, she should start seeking, start talking about it, and nurture your network, nurture your support system. And the first sign of emotional abuse I have seen is the isolation. Once you start feeling or start doubting the relationship, that is the biggest red flag sign. So never isolate yourself.
So, what would be the red flags that you would say in a marriage that are often missed because, often they show up as care, love, or culture?
So, like, I am the worst person to ask for that because I missed the red flag signs in both the marriages. And and yeah, my love was deaf, dumb, blind, everything. First was a love marriage. My friends identified the red flag signs. They warned me, they told me not to get married and we will stop talking to you, but still I went ahead. And the biggest red flag sign is the inconsistency. The person is one day he is very loving to you, and next day he will be, you will think, oh my God, what is it? And I have written a blog like, you are my sun, you are his sunshine. What happened? Then the response is climate change. What is that? Yeah, because it happens in these marriages. Like the suddenly the climate changes and you are not able to identify. And I always used to say like सास बहू song was there क्योंकि रिश्तों के भी रूप बदलते हैं. I used to tell, oh my God, रिश्तों के भी रूप बदलते हैं, ठीक है. It's like तुम्हारे भी रूप बदलते हैं रोज नए. Yeah, I'm not able to identify that. And these people are the most charming people. Nobody will believe you that what is happening behind the closed door, because they will be like so kind hearted, helping everybody else in the
Yes,
world.
but you.
Yes. But at your time, they will be like heartless. And
Say
the
that again and again, Aninda, because there are so many women who can't navigate all these dynamics, And then we also have financial control and
yes,
marital rape. These are private matters rather than forms of systemic violence,
yeah.
So let's talk about financial control because for homemakers, it is really crazy. I mean, I know so many women who are so ashamed to even say that they have a desire to buy something little expensive. They always feel that they don't deserve it.
So leave
And
the homemaker being, even I have seen professionals and myself also, like I people start feeling guilty when they are into this
yeah,
financial constraint, financial abuse is there. They start taking control of your finances. They start taunting you on sometimes. इतनी shopping की क्या
yeah,
जरूरत है? ये क्या हो गया तेरा तो if you ask for trip like ये तो रोज का ही मूड खराब है and if you buy something good for yourself to feel good अरे ड्रामा है ये तो it's like that TMS and all everything is taken as a drama whether the woman is going through the emotional stress and obviously if you are a homemaker you are doing so much for them so definitely I believe homemakers should earn much more than a professional they are definitely the superwoman like taking everything. I can't be a homemaker at all. It's like the most difficult task. I have immense respect. Yeah. So
So, I mean, India has seen a troubling rise in suicide by men, and some cases, like widely successful Atul Subhash's case, point to a crisis around misuse of gender protective laws, right?
yeah.
So, I don't know whether to call it gender protective laws or how it was. I mean, I'm still confused about it, and so I will ask you about it. So, how do we hold space for the genuine protection of women while addressing the emotional, legal, and mental vulnerabilities that men are also facing in today's world? For me, somewhere I feel that women today are changing. They're no longer like the way my generation of women were or my mother was. Today, women are not willing to tolerate a lot. So many marriages we see are falling apart because many men have not been able to catch up with this changing dynamics, because they probably expect what their mothers did is the same thing that their wives are going to do, and obviously they are they're surprised with how different women view life. So what is your take on this whole thing?
So one quotation I have always repeated in all my podcasts or in my blogs everywhere is like the problem today is whole generation work to empower women and forgot to teach men to live with the empowered woman. And that is
Yeah.
what causing the problem. So that is like a repeated thing. But yes, Atul Subhash case, I think it was a cause like the suicide and the emotional burden was more because of the judiciary and the official and the system because one person has to go to the divorce hearings and all for at least so many times going for one hearing is takes an emotional toll on me so and you never know what was happening behind the closed doors maybe there was a violence even if like but still this system and even if men are suffering the suicide was I believe most of the cases the system should be clear and this divorce one in India when one thinks about divorce उसको सोचते सोचते ही takes around 6 months तो अगर वहां तक
हाँ.
पहुंच गया है तो मतलब कोई टाइम कूलिंग पीरियड की बात ही नहीं है और it cannot be resolved इतना स्टिग्मा है one cannot think of going till the divorce अगर हिम्मत करके इंसान वहां one has reached the point so definitely marriage is irreversible at that time and then going through all that intolerable like questions and yeah few days back a journalist had put up in LinkedIn a 2 years old speech by Shashi Tharoor sir in which he said domestic abuse is not that punishable but marital rape is punishable. So that is the reason men are suffering much more in these cases because what happens now, domestic violence cases not taken care of. So false cases, false allegation of marital rape are being taken because of that. So that is why, and legal system, I think, and also the media reporting, the copycat suicides start increasing. Media reporting should be responsibly reported the suicide case and everything. And the after Atul Subhash case, there were many cases. Suddenly, they started coming up. Why? Because of there is a copycat suicide also. So the media has a responsibility to report the suicide reporting. There are proper guidelines which should be reported properly. and men's mental health should be taken care of, and there is a task force. So I don't take sides like women are suffering or men are suffering. It should be like not every case of section 498 is false, but but there are many cases which are false now because of the media, because of the system has made it very it is nothing, and so people have to put false allegations of marital rape. So that's why there should be a clear some task force to identify if it is a false case or a right case, and also the process of divorce which takes the emotional toll, and this all this should be made easier to make it better for both men and women.
So, how do rigid notions, of masculinity prevent men from seeking help? Because we know most men don't want to seek help, right? From trauma, depression, abuse, and there is a generational cycle also. And many men we know that carry their violence from, or neglect also during childhood,
Yes.
and they've never been able to address all of that. And then finally, there's so much harm in the personality. So, on the therapy side, what needs to change, in mental health?
सबसे पहले तो the myth which is there, मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. Why? The feelings have no gender at all. Everybody feels the pain, and I feel men feel more pain, especially when there are infidelity. They are not able to rebuild the life so easily as women does that. I have seen in all the divorce cases, men go towards either become very aggressive or isolate themselves, cut off themselves. But women, they take it as a challenge. Yes, अब मैं कुछ करके दिखाऊंगी, and they do much more, much better to rebuild the life to answer. And men don't do that because they don't talk. They feel vulnerability is weakness, and talking about men don't cry, men don't have pain, and I'm the strong enough, I can do it all by myself. Why? Why to do that? So embracing vulnerability is strength. I always say कि जब तक रोओगे नहीं खुल के तब तक हंस कैसे सकोगे. मतलब I am like Shah Rukh Khan's big fan. So and even Shah Rukh Khan in one interview he has embraced his vulnerability so nicely about his father's death.
Yeah,
So
I have seen
men
that. Yeah.
should talk about their vulnerability. They should be taught since the beginning. It's a book is there who is raising our children. So in that also there is written men how to raise the children. The men emotional regulation should be taught since beginning, and embracing your vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Men should be taught that. And
Okay.
also seeking help is not a sign of weakness. If you go to the therapy, so even if you want to go anonymously, there are so many online platforms now. First of all, there is
Hmm.
no shame, but the online platforms are there where you can take anonymous therapy. So that is there. And aggression comes out if you don't, if you keep up your bottled up emotion.
Yeah. So, Ananda, you serve as an advisor to Search Ends Inclusion Impact, and you've long advocated, for intersectional mental health. Many companies have DI policies now,
Yes.
but how do you think we can move beyond token representation to deep culture changing inclusion? On all of these subjects, gender, caste, sexuality, how do they intersect, to shape the mental health experience of the LGBTQ individuals plus individuals in India?
Yesterday, I had two talks on that. First was navigating complexities and social support for the challenge
Hmm.
coming out process. Because LGBTQ individuals, they don't, because of the stigma, they have a lot of I presented it as a tree of life. It's like the roots are there. There is a abundance abandonment issues, then trauma, stigma, discrimination. So we as a psychiatrist and a society can be a trunk for them as a support. And the branches of support are acceptance, non-discrimination, non-judgmental attitude. And as we all appreciate the rainbow. So these are also the colors of the relationship and the human mind. Then why not appreciate that? So that is the key. And acceptance is the key. They are not different at all. They are like us. Until and unless we accept that, it is not going to change. And whenever any someone comes to me, I just tell them, I think you need counseling, not your child, and or you have come to the wrong psychiatrist. I am very clear in that. And about making the places equity and all. So I did the course with United Nations and Sustainable Developmental Goals for 17 sustainable development goals, but I dedicate myself, I am committed to SDG 5, that is about gender equality. which is correlated with the peace, justice, discrimination, good health, and all. Yeah. So with that, I got in touch with Prince Manvendra Singh Gohil, and I have made DEI courses with him for all the corporate sectors, in which we are going to have a mental wellness workshop. So Dr. Amrit Patajoshi, who is the Indian Psychiatrist Society secretary, he and me, we both were there with him, and we have made these courses. So there are like how the acceptance is the key. So first of all, change should be from your staff. Even if the boss is accepting, agar someone comes from LGBT community and the staff is only disrespectful, then whole
Yeah.
idea is only gone. So you should train your staff first. So there are mental wellness workshops we have made, and a panel discussion, and how to train the HR professionals. And more than HR, even from the sweeper to the boss. Because even if the boss, even if HR, everybody is cooperative. And बाहर जाते ही अगर स्वीपर ने कुछ बोल दिया, अरे ये तो ऐसे आ गया. So everything is gone. So that should start from everywhere. Yeah. So that is the key. And I always say they are just it is just the color of rainbow, and it should be accepted. And I have been asked by many people if I am a lesbian, because I advocate a lot. So I say I am just a crazy Ellie who believe everyone has equal rights. It doesn't mean I am a
Yeah.
lesbian.
So am I. I'm also an ally, absolute ally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe every human being has a right to love whoever they want to love.
Yes,
Who are
definitely.
we to
Because we
decide,
don't
really?
fall in love with the gender, we'll fall in love with the person. And also,
Yeah.
gender is uh, sex is between the legs, but gender is between the mind. So there is love is also between the mind.
Yeah, so Ananda, there are very unique challenges that are faced by those who are doubly or triply marginalized. So let's talk about LGBTQ plus people who are living with HIV or disabilities. So how do we train them, their mental health? How is it that we address? Because there, the isolation must be even more higher.
Definitely, they have much more higher isolation. And now, first of all, the acceptance. There are many NGOs also. Even Prince Manvendra Singh Gohil runs a Lakshya Trust, in which he does that prophylaxis kits for HIV, and awareness campaigns are there. Then in Rajasthan, there is a Rainbow Trust LGBT. I was the speaker with Noor Shekhawat. She was the first transgender to get her gender changed in the passport, and
Wow.
she advocates for that, and she has an NGO Rainbow, and she's president of that, in which there are a lot of awareness campaigns about HIV, and also even the marginalized people, even the menstruation, women empowerment, all these things are taught. And persons with invisible disabilities like even spondylizing arthritis, and even I call the mental illnesses are also invisible disabilities. And just because I am carrying it well, it doesn't mean it's not heavy. It's like person can be smiling in front, maybe in behind. Everyone is going through a battle, so always be kind. And
Yeah,
yeah, so
absolutely.
mental health. Indian Psychiatrist Society has definitely we have separate task forces for this. For the disability people, there are even we give them the certificate to get the benefits from the government. And Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has now come up with the initiative to make the separate wards for LGBT people, because definitely they have very difficult time to take the toilets and all those things. So it has come up with the initiative where medical colleges can apply, and my medical college is applying for that, to have a LGBTQ ward separately. Yeah.
How lovely is that? So, Ananda, what is that one thing you wish every young woman could be taught, early, about love, about survival, about owning her own agency? Because agency is also such a, not at all spoken about word, even till now, Ananda. So, what would you wish?
I just want to tell one thing. Love yourself first. Everything else will fall into place, and the magic will begin. And also, don't give the steering wheel of your life in anybody's hand. And you are the queen of your life. And bold women make history. So well-behaved women seldom make history. So be bold and be unique. Everyone else is taken. Be unique.
I'm sending you a high five from here by saying
Yeah.
that. Bold women do make history.
Definitely.
Agree with you there totally. So thank you so much, Ananda, for your vulnerability, your voice, and your vision. This conversation maybe wasn't easy for many of our listeners, but it is very, very necessary. So for our listeners, if something in this episode stirred you, if you saw yourself in any part of this conversation, please share it, start a dialogue, tag someone who needs to hear this, and let's keep pushing for a world where inclusion, healing, and dignity aren't optional, they're foundational. So until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And we need to thank a lot of brands, Ananda, who've come on, right now, like we have the Godrej Group, the Godrej, Culture Lab, pioneered conversations around gender, sexuality, and inclusion in corporate spaces. Then there's also L'Oreal India, that's invested in
Yes.
internal DIE programs and training, especially around the intersectionality and gender diversity. There's also Badhai Ho, the film.
Yeah.
Apart from Animal, there's also Badhai Ho. And
Okay.
there's also Made in Heaven.
Yes,
There are
I
quite a few
love that.
films that are, yeah. So it
And four
addresses
more
themes of class.
shots.
4 more shots, yeah.
Yeah.
Then Men Against Violence and Abuse. It's called MAVA, MAVA, which uses theater and dialogue to engage young men in gender conversations,
So
which we were talking
we
about.
should not forget about Men Against Rape and Discrimination, which is run by Farhan Akhtar and Anurag Rao.
Yeah, Save Indian Family Foundation, which is called SIF, which is the men's rights group advocating for legal reforms around IPC 498A misuse. So here is hoping that all of us kind of come to a level playing field where, marriages are not made, are not, you don't get married because society expects you to get married, but you get married because of love, respect, and a vision towards equality with one another. And thank you so much for taking out the time and being on today's episode. It's been an honor to have you with me, Dr. Aninda.
It was lovely having a conversation with you. Thanks a lot.